Now 2008 is different from 1968 and 1988, which you are more familiar. Right? You are more close to 2008. Yes. 20. So that is what you can say this. You know that global economic crisis, the world was going through global economic crisis. The global economic crisis happened in 2007 and 8. This, then terrorism, other, you know that things. Then let's say climate change is another important aspect. Plus other such global issues, you can say it can be related to food security, it can be related to energy security, it can be related to other such, let's say, that factors, including employment, unemployment, gender factor, technology, all these things you can say this. Yes. So it was experiencing, you can consider so many developments. And also after, let's say, Minnowbrook second was held when market just it was emerging. And by 2008, market emerged also and bubble burst also. The economic crisis 2007 and 8 was about bursting of that bubble of market. Which short experience was also East Asian crisis. Know that. 1997. So already this is how market was facing. That's why we say it as post-bureaucratic. हालांकि post-bureaucratic तो 1960s से ही है. Post-competition is post-market, you can say. Post-globalization is after globalization. The world was also facing crisis, and in a way, let's say, public administration as a discipline was not facing crisis, but yes, it was experiencing lots of development. Multi-paradigmatic phase. You know that paradigm 6, so it is multi-paradigmatic phase. So many developments it was experiencing. But external environment, we can say that it was crisis-ridden. The external environment was facing lots of crises. Right? That crisis was also in the world, and that crisis was also in the US. Because economic crisis started with US subprime crisis, you know that. The economic crisis started in US, then it became global economic crisis. At the same time, US was facing other such challenges. And challenges could also be in terms of, let's say, some wars and reversals in the wars, you know that. But let's say this time there was no protest like the way in Vietnam war happened. But yes, there was, let's say that it was stuck in Afghanistan and Iran. Iran, I mean to say Iraq. So it was stuck in that, you can say. If you draw similarity between 1 and 3, if you find. So that happened. Plus within US administration once again was not responding to the problems faced by society. Basically that time there was a cyclone in US. That name of the cyclone was Cyclone Katrina. This. So that cyclone when came in US, the bureaucracy in US failed to respond to tackle that cyclone. This you can say. Rather you see in this way that they were facing less incidents of cyclones, etc. But now global warming has increased the incidents of cyclone more frequent. These things have become very frequent. You can hear how Canada, UK, and let's say US, they face lots of those kind of disasters. Let's say that forest, let's say that forest fire, you can say heat waves, you can say like this. Anyhow, so erraticness in environment, but that is how it was increasing, and bureaucracy was not able to perform. So a similar type of situation was created in 2008 when it was created in 1968. Yes. And that is how again they met at, let's say, Minnowbrook, although the conference was held in 2 phases, at 2 different places, you know that, but the second phase was, let's say, this is how Minnowbrook conference you can consider. This time, since world had changed, so they also invited some thinkers from the developing countries also. Some developing countries thinkers for the first time participated in Minnowbrook conference, and they tried to, let's say, address the emerging challenges. So their agenda, whatever the topics they had for their discussion, those topics also reminded or gave understanding that what are the topics or what are the those, let's say, that challenges which faced by the public administration. In a way, topics gives you this understanding what are the affairs of public administration in contemporary times, means as of now which topics or which affairs, let's say, influence public administration, that you can say. They adopted a theme. That theme was also very broad, that is called future of traditional public administration, new public management and new public service. Yes, and they gave some perceptible articulated contributions. When we say perceptible and articulated, means there should be some clear effects of that. This, so when there is any clear effects of something, we generally say it is articulated and perceptible. So that is how they also gave some clear, let's say, contributions. As we have already one, we have told, that is called definition of public administration. They define public administration, which is a big thing, defining public administration. Then they talk also about CPA, and then they talk about methods of public administration. What should be the methods of inquiry? So these things were considered some clear contributions by this Minnowbrook Third Conference. Plus we have to take also similarity, differences, how it was similar or how it was different. So whether it was more similar to first, it was more different to second, that is how the comparison we have to do this. And then we have to talk some common aspect between them. This, then we have to talk relevance, we have to talk also that weaknesses or criticism, what are those things they did not try to focus, or what can be considered as left agenda. The left agenda was public administration as subject. They did not talk about the discipline. They talk about the relevance of the discipline, but they did not talk that which type of discipline it is. That is criticized by Mohit Bhattacharya. Criticized that the main thing you are not answering. Are you less confident? Are you not confident? So you are not addressing the disciplinary questions. This you should know that. Basically, you are not taking the stand. You write answer, people write answer. अगर आपने लिखना शुरू कर दिया होगा, तो GS में लिखने का ट्रेंड जो चलता है आजकल, प्रोस कॉन्स, वे फॉरवर्ड. अरे व्यू तो बता दो क्या है. This. तो अच्छा तरीका है भागने का, isn't it? इंट्रोडक्शन कुछ लिख दो, वो प्रोस कॉन्स वे फॉरवर्ड. होना क्या चाहिए पता ही नहीं चल रहा है, isn't it? सो ये एक मार्केट में अच्छा तरीका चला है कि स्टैंड नहीं लेना है. बस तो प्रोस कॉन से स्टैंड पता नहीं चलेगा, 50-50. राइट, वे फॉरवर्ड में आगे का स्टेप बता रहे हो ना, तो जो प्रॉब्लम है उसके बारे में बता दो कि सही है कि गलत. प्रोस कॉन्स बस. और बच्चे एथिक्स में क्या लिखते हैं, इंडिया के एग्जाम्पल नहीं लिखते हैं, अवॉइड कर देते हैं, लिखेंगे श्रीलंका. यस, अरे प्रॉब्लम इंडिया का पूछ रहा है, लिख रहे हो श्रीलंका, तो इंडिया में स्टैंड लेने में प्रॉब्लम है? नो, गवर्नमेंट हर्ट हो जाएगी. तो इसलिए वो दूसरे देश का एग्जाम्पल देता है. क्वेश्चन पूछ रहा है इंडियन कॉन्टेक्स्ट में, एग्जाम्पल लिख रहा है अमेरिकन कॉन्टेक्स्ट. अच्छी बात है, राइट. हम दूसरे का भी प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करते हैं. That is what a trend, right? So this is what you will find this, they did not try to take a stand, right? कि what exactly the subject is ना. इतने सालों के बाद आप मिल रहे हो तो कम से कम ये बता के चले जाओ ताकि हम लोगों को भी क्लियर हो जाए. बच्चों को भी क्लियर हो जाएगा कि सब्जेक्ट है कि नहीं. इज इट इज सब्जेक्ट, क्या हुआ उस लोकस फोकस का. Right. So what happened to the locus and focus, isn't it? Almost 28 years of paradigm 6. तो कुछ तो बताओ कि paradigm 7 आएगा कि नहीं आएगा. इंतजार कर लेंगे थोड़ा देर. मतलब 1-2 सालों में आने वाला होगा तो. So that is how they do not talk anything on subject. That is their main weakness. This. And that is what we can say. But still, let's say, even if they have not talked about, they do talk about the relevance of the subject. After all, ultimately, it is the public administration which will solve the problems of public governance. This, something they offered, something they left. तो 4 साल के बाद आने वाला है, isn't it? देखते हैं वो लोग क्या करते हैं. Minnowbrook 4th conference. Yes, that is what you have to write. So let's write on this. So, Minnowbrook third conference. Third conference was held to mark the legacy of Minnowbrook first. Minnowbrook first. It was held in an environment which was characterized by crisis-like situations. Both external and internal. And it was expected that the conference would address some of the disciplinary questions raised in contemporary times. It gave 3 important contributions. Namely, first, a definition of public administration. Second, relevance of comparative public administration. Next, the methods for theory building in public administration. It was presided by Rosemary O'Leary, O'Leary. It was presided by Rosemary O'Leary. This, whatever the way we pronounce this, its theme was future of traditional public administration, new public management and new public service. The conference was held in 2 phases. Phase first phase first. It was a pre-conference phase. Pre-conference phase in which the scholars discuss and deliberated on agenda like first the academic and practitioner relationship, next new public management, next public policy management, next democratic governance, next globalization, next ICT and network governance, network governance. Next phase second. It was the main conference in which the agenda like concerns related to public administration, including comparative public administration, were debated, and it was at this stage that they gave three important contributions. First, a definition of public administration as socially embedded process of collective relationship, dialogue and action to promote human flourishing for all. Next, they recognize the field of comparative public administration. That it is an important subfield of public administration. In bracket you can write CPA emerged during 1960s. But declined during 1970s. Hence, the recognition of CPA by Minnowbrook Third Conference has its own relevance. As it gives clarity about CPA as emerging field. Next, the methods for theory building. Third point, the methods for theory building. Theory building. It gave also clarity on. It also gave clarity on what should be the methods of theory building. What should be the methods of theory building? Methods of theory building. Theory building. Right. Since Minnowbrook first was anti-theoretical, it was important to see how Minnowbrook third conference gave clarity on methods of theory building. Methods of theory building. It says there should be, within that, it says there should be methodological pluralism. There should be methodological pluralism in theory building. Methodological pluralism in theory building. Which means there should be receptivity for different methods, including normative and empirical. Right? So this is how we mean when we say methodological pluralism. The methodological is nothing but it is related to method. Pluralism means let's say plural methods. So finally it gets, let's say that settled here, you know that classical theory was normative, Herbert Simon was empirical, both rejected each other, you know that, and both were rejected by NPA. So yes.
Since it gave theory building and method, so then we consider as a subject. I mean, it indirectly said that it could be a subject because.
No, it can be, let's say, they do have direct, indirect link to the subject. But when they have given definition also.
Yes.
The giving definition itself is a big contribution. But let's say that there are some questions which are not addressed. Right. That is whether public administration is emerging towards a new paradigm. What happened after sixth paradigm? You are meeting after 18 years. This 18 years of paradigm 6. Right. The paradigm 6 came in 1990. You are meeting in 2008. It's 18 years. तो कुछ तो बोलो आप कि क्या है paradigm 6 का status? No, it is left to Nicholas Henry to write. Anyhow, so let's say कि Nicholas Henry wrote. So what we know about paradigm 6? तो Nicholas Henry जो उन्होंने बोला यूँ आपने मान लिया उसको. But it is such a huge platform where you have lots of thinkers coming from different backgrounds. And the objective is also academic. You have two phases of conference. One is called warm-up type, talking about some topics, agenda. Second is talking something related to public administration. So that you are not talking, let's say that. Then let's say that then you are not trying to address कि should it remain methodological pluralism तो आपने बोल दिया, बट क्या पब्लिक एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन नॉर्मेटिव साइंस है या एम्पिरिकल साइंस है, होना चाहिए नहीं होना चाहिए, isn't it? So these questions are left, they are not trying to address that one. For that they are criticized. This जो ये सारा जो हम कह रहे हैं, जो two schools of thought we told that कि one school of thought says it is not a subject, another school of thought says it is a subject. आपका क्या view है? What is your stand on that? Hey, don't you think they should have assessed the status of the subject, which is more important than agenda of the subject? Yes. Are you lacking confidence to address those problems? Yes. मोहित भट्टाचार्य ने तो और भी शार्पली बोला है. We are talking in the software. Right. He says cul-de-sac continues. Right. Cul-de-sac means, let's say that. Right. Cul-de-sac continue in public administration. मतलब dead end remains. Means public administration has reached to a dead end. वो ऐसे इस गली में गया है कि उसके बाद कोई रास्ता नहीं है. उसका मतलब ये होता है. He says कि public administration has gone to a level that कि there is no further way left. It has reached to a dead end as far as this disciplinary progress is concerned. Because nobody is talking about discipline. Last time they talk about the discipline, the Nicholas Henry, let's say that's also 1990s. And that is one thinker. Right. So, why you are not addressing this? If you at all want to address public administration, नहीं तो ठीक है, आप legacy celebrate करो, चाय पियो जाओ. कॉफी भी चलता है वहाँ पर. Then this, so that is how you should know that. Let's see, conference. Right. Getting my point. देखो ये सब कुछ having said done everything ये सारा है, but still matter has not gone beyond that. ना? Tell me any new university in the country which has introduced public administration as graduation subject. Yes. नहीं है ऐसा, तो dead end remains. Yes. तो let's say that you do not have this. Na? The progress नहीं है. There is no progress. And I told you that, na, कि remove the optional. मतलब मान लो कि ऑप्शनल यूपीएससी से राइट, तो फिर देखो क्या होता है, कोई नहीं पढ़ेगा ह्यूमैनिटीज. राइट, दिस इवन दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी वाले भी नहीं पढ़ेंगे. बस पॉलिटिकल साइंस वाले लोग, इजंट इट? एनीहाउ, सो फिर क्या ऑप्शन होगा? राइट, सोशल वर्क, नो, मास्टर इन सोशल वर्क. देखो हमारे यहाँ रिसर्च तो होता नहीं है, पता है आपको. जब रिसर्च नहीं होता है तो ह्यूमैनिटीज का फ्यूचर क्या है? एक टाटा ने बचा के रखा है टिस, ना, टाटा इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ सोशल साइंस. बस तो वही एक रास्ता है, इजंट इट? नहीं तो आप दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी ज्वाइन कर लो, फिर से पढ़ाने लगो. वो भी सीट्स कितना होगा वहाँ पर? मिल गया तो अच्छा है, नहीं तो एडहॉक पे ही चाहिए. So research, journalists, we invest in research, let's say that. Research is something, हमारे देश में बाहर के लोग आकर रिसर्च करते हैं, वहाँ पे स्वदेशी फार्मूला लगता नहीं है. जो लोग स्वदेशी वाले हैं, स्वदेशी जागरण मंच. Yes. So this is what we'll find. Research बाहर के लोग आके करते हैं. आप let's say that you give contract to World Bank for research, अजीब बात है. Yes. So that is what academic development, let's say. ठीक है, ऐसा नहीं कि वी आर बिकमिंग सो शार्प टू deliberately we are trying to criticize, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. There are let's say कि they do have their own recognition, they have given in this, but lack of clarity remains na. That clarity remains not since 90s, it remains since 1970s. The thinkers talked about status of the subject, public administration as public administration, that is 1970s. निकोलस हेनरी को रिकग्निशन नहीं है ना, आप बुक्स पढ़ लो ना, नहीं मिलेगा निकोलस हेनरी. आप मोहित भट्टाचार्य पढ़ो, ही विल फिनिश एट 1970s. अरे उसके आगे भी लिख दो क्या हुआ. दिस एवोल्यूशन ऑफ पब्लिक एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन, आप इग्नू पढ़ लो, वो भी वही काम करते हैं. That they will finish the evolution of public administration in 1970s. अजीब बात. This 50 years हो गए तब. This तो you do not write it ना, तो subject का status क्या होगा. This so that is in this context, let's say. Anyhow, let's write on this. So what we have written?
There should be receptivity for different methods, including cognitive and intelligence.
Yes. Right. Therefore, let's say, therefore, Minnowbrook Conference Third gave three important contributions. However, they were criticized. Means the conference was criticized. For following factors. First, it failed to address disciplinary questions. For which Mohit Bhattacharya sharply criticized the conference by saying that the disciplinary cul-de-sac remains. The disciplinary cul-de-sac remains in bracket by not answering disciplinary questions. The dead end of public administration continues. This next, they also did not provide strategies. How to tackle governance challenges. They considered the present state of governance. As governance in dark times. This the dark times का एक light भी तो दे दो. But they fail to provide how to tackle dark times. Let see, अगर आप एकेडमिशियन को मानोगे तो वो ये कहते हैं कि देयर इज ए गवर्नेंस क्राइसिस. Yes. The governance crisis है, gradually you will know कि what is that governance crisis. And all countries are facing that governance crisis. It is not that कि they US में अलग, I told you that कि US में अलग तरीके का प्रॉब्लम है. तो वहाँ क्या प्रॉब्लम है, तो वहाँ पे चूँकि लेट से जाए कि टेम्परेचर काफ़ी लो रहता है, कोल्ड ज़्यादा होता है, तो वहाँ पे पीपल लेट से कि घरों में यू नो दैट कि दे हैव लेट्स की दे फायर लेट्स से दैट कि फायर वुड मेड लेट्स से दैट कि दे यूज इट, जिसको आप अलाव बोल सकते हैं, चिमनी बोल सकते हैं. तो दे हैव मोस्टली पीपल विल हैव इन देयर हाउस चिमनी, यू कैन से दैट, यू कैन सी दिस. नाउ उससे पोल्यूशन बढ़ गया है, राइट. तो वहाँ पे ये अभी चल रहा है चैलेंज कि उसको रेगुलेट कैसे करना है, स्मोकलेस कैसे बनाना है. ठीक है, तो ऐसा चैलेंज है वहाँ पर. Isn't it? हमारे यहाँ चिमनी का अलग कंसेप्ट. चिमनी बनाना नहीं है, वैसे ही गैस चैम्बर बना है. देख दिल्ली में यहाँ का नॉर्मल भी एयर क्वालिटी वो क्रिटिकल लेवल पे ही होता है. Do you know this? अब तो फोन में आता होगा ना, आप देखना चेक करना है. तो नॉर्मल भी एयर क्वालिटी यानी नॉर्मल डे आज का भी देख लेना क्या है. तो नॉर्मल डे भी जो एयर क्वालिटी होता है वो क्रिटिकल ही रहता है. ठीक. तो हमारा चैलेंज अलग है, उनका चैलेंज अलग है. तो उनके पास भी चैलेंज है कि कैसे चिमनी को रेगुलेट करना है. तो दैट वे तो किसी ने इनोवेट किया है कुछ, वहाँ पे किसी कंपनी ने कुछ इनोवेट किया है. दिस so that is what we will find is कि how we can address. So government is entering in contract with that company to address that problem. Anyhow, so but हमारा challenge अलग है. तो governance challenge has increased. That is how they say crisis. How governance challenge has increased. Dark times. So many issues you have. Climate change. You have climate change. Economic crisis. Unemployment. This सब कुछ चल रहा है. तो आ गया आपका आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस. नो द रोबोटिक्स, आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस, ले ऑफ, ऑल these things, this you can say, the less employment opportunity, this. So unemployment, increase in unemployment, then COVID crisis, right. तो थोड़ा बचा हुआ था तो उन्होंने बैलेंस कर दिया. this. Unemployment increase, economic crisis, so many things you are facing, let's say that. So there is governance crisis. They say it is a dark times. Dark phase you can say because of global warming, climate change, other things. So they are facing this, but they did not provide any solution to that, how to tackle. Rather they told that it will be tackled by public administration. This, so that criticism you can say. Like say next point. It still remain ethnocentric. It still remained ethnocentric. It still remained ethnocentric. Ethnocentric. That only few countries, scholars were invited. Scholars were invited, like some African countries, Japan, Korea. Although it was a good development, but it was dominated by Western scholars. It was dominated by Western scholars. This relevance of Minnowbrook Third Conference. See, it is a good development, but you know that you are holding the conference in a post-globalization era. So when it is a post-globalization era, it is expected that you should reflect global realities. This you can say. So Minnowbrook first was purely American, second is also purely American, but then you are holding the conference after globalization. So when it is after globalization, so it is expected that you should have more and more influence of let's say that the countries. And interestingly, there was no Indian thinker. You say interestingly or regrettingly, both. Right? तो जो भी उसमें डेवलपिंग कंट्रीज के स्कॉलर्स है उसमें कोई एक भी इंडियन थिंकर नहीं है. रादर जापान से हैं, कोरिया से है, साउथ अफ्रीका से है. इट इज डिस्क्रिमिनेशन? नो, डिस्क्रिमिनेशन है एटलीस्ट दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी से ले जाना था. So that is what is it. Anyhow, next time 4 साल के बाद है, isn't it? Yes. But basically there is a Japanese scholar who has become popular, let's say that, globally popular, called Francis Fukuyama. So Francis Fukuyama, name we'll take when we'll teach after this, you know that. So he's from Japan and globally now recognized thinker. Yes, who wrote the book called The End of History and the Last Man. This in 1989. This. So we'll talk it when we'll take public choice approach. This. So we need that kind of scholars, let's say that. Public administration. You can have economists, no doubt. You can have geologists, economists, biologists. होंगे. But public administration में अभी ऐसा नहीं है. Yes. Next. Relevance. Still it is considered relevant for the discipline and practice of public administration. For the discipline and practice of public administration. Practice of public administration. Due to following factors. First, its agenda or topics for academic discourse gave idea about the affairs of the state in globalized environment. Next, its theme gave idea about the scope of public administration. Next, it gave a clear definition of public administration. Which happened first time that public administration was defined by any such global platform. Next, it gave clarity about methods of theory building. Next, it recognized the significance of public administration. That the solutions to governance challenges will be provided by public administration. Change paragraph. Hence, in a way, Minnowbrook Conference Third. Hence, in a way, Minnowbrook Conference Third can be used as development which gives clarity about the emerging perspective of public administration. The emerging perspective of public administration or its trajectory that where the discipline is heading towards, It also reduced ethnocentrism by inviting thinkers from developing countries, which gave an indication that Minnowbrook Fourth may become more global, less American. Minnowbrook Fourth may become more global, less American. That's all about Minnowbrook Third Conference. That is how we can talk about. It has something to offer, something substance like Minnowbrook First Conference. Can we say? So let's write next. Comparison between 1, 2, 3 means Minnowbrook First, Second, and Third. Yes. No, first write the heading, then we'll talk. Minnowbrook First, Second, and Third. A separate heading. Minnowbrook First, Second, and Third. By the way, which two are similar? 1 and second. 1 and 3. Right. How they are similar? No, third is also democratic. No, democratic is all the three. But in terms of environment, in terms of contributions, so that is how similarity they can have, isn't it? Yes. So that is what we have to compare and write. So let's write on this. All the three conferences have given rise to a legacy in public administration. Of democratic governance. Legacy in public administration of democratic governance. However, they have differences. They have following differences. Now you write 3 columns and some points will write. Right? 3 columns. अभी time नहीं हुआ है. Don't was. This. So I don't follow watch, isn't it? तो आप भी मत पहन के आओ घड़ी. है तो बंद कर दो उसको. Isn't it? ये है उसको हम पीछे करते हैं अभी. That's right. Now, So Minnowbrook first, presided by Dwight Waldo. Presided by Dwight Waldo. This side, George Frederickson. George Frederickson. Second was presided by George Frederickson. And third was Rosemary O'Leary. Next, environment, crisis ridden. Environment, crisis ridden. This side, market led. Market led. Next side, crisis ridden. Crisis ridden, post globalization. Crisis ridden, post globalization environment. Next, over ambitious and reactionary. Reactionary, this side, pragmatic. This side, pragmatic. Third also pragmatic. Next, contributions, 3 NT goals and 5 goals. 3 NT goals and 5 goals. Next, this side, this gender development, leadership. Gender development, leadership as agenda. This side, 3 important contributions. 3 important contributions. Contributions. Next. Next. Philosophy. Philosophy. Democratic governance. This Minnowbrook second, democratic governance. First also democratic governance, second also democratic governance. Third, democratic governance. Democratic governance as well as receptive to business management. Business management. Next, methods, normative. This lack clarity. Minnowbrook second, lack clarity. Next, methodological pluralism. Methodological pluralism. This change in paragraph means change in comparison. Even if they have differences, but they are more known for, similarities rather than differences, as they have espoused the idea of democratic governance. ESPOUSAD, espoused the idea of THE, the right. They have espoused the idea of democratic governance, right, as their core value, right, which has become part and parcel of public administration. which has become part and parcel of public administration. Although Minnowbrook first and third are more similar, first and third are more similar than any other combination. More similar than any other combinations. Acceptable, not a problem. Right? So more.
More similar than any other combination.
Right. They have created. They have created a formidable legacy. They have created a formidable legacy in public administration of over 60 years of tradition, of over 60 years of tradition, 60 years, 60 years of tradition, let's say, tradition, which has given also legitimacy to the field of public administration. Field of public administration. There is no any other such platform. There is no any other such platform which has contributed to public administration the way Minnowbrook legacy has contributed, the way Minnowbrooks have contributed, the way Minnowbrooks have contributed. Although there is also contribution by American Society of Public Administration. American Society of Public Administration, which was established in 1939. Which was established in 1939, and it promoted the field of CPA. It promoted the field of CPA and also publishes a journal on public administration. And also publishes a journal on public administration. Yes. So that is all.